Hey guys, don't forget to hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I come up with a new video. Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for coming back. I'm Arpita and I welcome you back to the Crazy Wisdom. Alright, so it's again turn for the season special video, and today we'll be looking into Leos the Kings and seeing as to what makes them break up from the rest of the signs no matter how strong the relationship is, and what makes them decide that I am not going back to this bond come what may. And therefore, without wasting another minute, let's get straight into the video. Put on your thinking caps and your wisdom boots. Let's get on and shoot. Alright, so the reason here is failed pampering. Now we know that Leos are bosses and they require sugar-coated appreciation, ego boost and a constant bow down from their partners. And when they see that their Aries partner does not care about it at all, because they actually don't, they themselves are pretty self-obsessed. And when this thing gets too extreme, that is the moment when a Leo breaks up and moves on to a more adaptable partner. The reason here is pig-headedness. Now a Leo is an earth sign and a fixed sign. एक बार जो मैंने कमिटमेंट कर दी तो फिर मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता sort of a person. And then enters a Taurus who is another fixed sign and another earth sign. एक बार जो मैंने कमिटमेंट कर दी sort of a person. Now it can also work fine until the point when a Leo's stubbornness gets mixed with their pride and self-esteem, which is the maximum in the belt, and they become like, you know what, you cannot condemn me, I am the boss and you need to listen to what I say. And that is the time when a Taurus becomes harder than a ground in their decision, because they are the kings of stubbornness. And thus when ego and stubbornness clash, it ends up breaking the bond completely, because for a Leo it's like, if you do not respect me, if you do not agree with me, if you do not follow me, then you do not deserve me. The reason here is loyalty. Now, a Leo is an exceptionally committed and a very possessive person as a partner. You know, they would want their partners to be theirs and solely theirs when they are in a committed relationship with them. But when they see a Gemini's airy and chilled out and, you know, I don't care much sort of an attitude, and their need to be experimental and explore all possibilities before finally committing, that is the moment when a Leo decides to call it quits and come out of the bond, because they cannot be in a relationship that does not have the strength and perseverance from both the partners to work on it rather than just go out and explore different opportunities. The reason here is mind games. Now we know that a Leo is a very straightforward and in-your-face sort of a person, and they do not manipulate much, especially in a relationship. But this is a Cancerian's forte and their strong point to, you know, play mind games and guerrilla warfare and, you know, trick the other person and manipulate the other person to do as they say. And therefore, when a Leo finds out that they are being deceived and tricked and led on to different things and conclusions by their Cancerian partner, that is the moment when a Leo angrily storms out of the relationship, because hey, how can you deceive a king and get out of that situation unharmed? So this acts as the final breaking point of this bond. The reason here is selfishness. Now, a bond between two Leos can be one of the strongest bonds, but it can also be one of the most selfish ones. Because accept it or not, for a Leo, you know, their demands and their desires and their expectations from a relationship and from their partner are way higher than what they think their duties and responsibilities are. And therefore, in a Leo-Leo relationship, when their personal needs surpass their partners, that is the time when one of them decides to leave the other person behind and move on to a more compatible relationship. The reason here is fault finding. Now, both of these are the opposite sides of a coin. A Leo is a very flamboyant and extravagant person, and they want to boast about, gloat about, and display each and everything that they have or they have achieved. You know, even the smallest of success that they get, they want to tell about it to the world. And then enters the Virgo, who is constantly picky and choosy and judgmental and overcritical about everything that a Leo does, and you know, they can end up finding faults and displaying shortcomings of a Leo which even they haven't noticed or ever thought about. And this is the moment that a Leo, you know, decides to cut off this bond for good and move on from it as far away as possible, because a Leo cannot live without constant appreciation and praise, and what is happening here is the complete opposite of it. The reason here is too much dependence. Now, a Leo understands that they are more prompt and quicker in taking decisions than a Libra is, and a Libra would need time to think, analyze before reacting or acting on a situation. But when a Libra reaches the maximum point of their indecisiveness and they become like, I would not even take a step without your consent or without your decision, that is the moment when a Leo storms out of the relationship completely flabbergasted, because they cannot handle their partners falling so much on them. They want a committed relationship and a committed partner, but not an unsure and clingy one. And therefore, this is the moment that they finally decide to cut off and move on. The reason here is the final say. Now, Leo is ruled by Sun, a grand masculine energy, and Scorpio is ruled by Mars, another grand masculine energy. Now, these two fight a lot in decision making, and both of them want to have the final say, just like two men in a heated argument. But a Leo cannot handle this much domination from their partners because they're wired to be such dominators themselves, whereas a Scorpio is an immensely dominating person, both at the mental level and at the physical, out in the world. I am the leader in the relationship sort of level. And this acts as the lowest and the weakest point in a Leo-Scorpio bond. And this is the moment when they decide to break up and move on, because a Leo cannot be this submissive in a relationship. The reason here is a twisted tongue. Now, Sagittarians are often very, very careless with their words, and they often speak without thinking and continuously regret later. And this is the weakest point in a Leo-Sagittarius relationship, because Leos have one of the most delicate and fragile egos in the entire zodiac belt, and they cannot handle disrespect thrown at them. And therefore, when a Sagittarius says something or does something that brings a Leo in a negative or stupid and foolish light in front of the world, that is the moment when a Leo decides to break the bond, because how can you make fun of a king? Or that is what is ingrained in them. And therefore, when a Sagittarius tries to pull them down, a Leo decides to pull themselves out of the relationship. The reason here is speed. Now, Leos are ruled by Sun and Capricorns are ruled by Saturn. They are arch enemies first of all. And even if they're successful in surpassing this, then a Capricorn's structure and timeliness and strict work schedules sort of start to suffocate a Leo, who is primarily a laid-back, kingly sort of a person who hardly wants to do anything on their own. And therefore, when the boundaries set by a Capricorn in a relationship become a bit too much for Leo to handle, that is the moment that they decide to break the bond and get out of it for good. The reason here is an emotional void. Now, a Leo needs constant pampering and attention and appreciation, as we all know it. They are passionate and to the core. But when they come across an Aquarius and they see their emotionally detached self in almost everything related to love and relationships, be it in expressing it or feeling it, because for an Aquarius, their partner is as good as their friend. And therefore, the moment Leo starts to feel the absence of all those things and expressions of love that they primarily demand from a relationship, that is the moment they retreat from it, and they retreat from it for good, because they cannot be in a relationship where they are not celebrated. The reason here is lack of communication. Now, a Leo is a very, very expressive sign, and they cannot keep anything to themselves, Be it an emotion, an idea, or even a mistake that they have committed, they go out and tell to their partners. Whereas a Pisces, on the other hand, runs way deeper than that. They need a lot of space, more than us time, they need me time in a relationship. Whereas a Leo is not like that, if they are in a bond, they need that togetherness. And therefore, when this void of emptiness widens up a bit too much between a Leo and a Pisces, where there is a lack of communication and expression, that is the time when a Leo finally decides to stop putting in any more time, effort and energy in the relationship, and they retreat from this bond for good. Alright guys, so with this I put a wrap in today's video. Do tell me how you feel about your relationship with a Leo and how its dynamics are, and how much do you agree or disagree to it. Also, if you liked it, don't forget to leave a cute thumbs up right underneath it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel in order to remain updated with all the latest news on zodiacs, astrology and motivation. Also, for all your personalized consultations, you can mail me all your queries and doubts at arpitabahel@gmail.com. I would be attaching the email address right in the description below, and you can follow me on my Instagram page, The Crazy Wisdom, the link to which I would be attaching again in the description below. And so with this, I'll be meeting you again too soon, but don't forget to be crazy and wise until we meet for the next time. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.